Hey everyone, welcome back to I Totally Love It. My name is Susan. In this video, I'm working on the next part of my flip flop journal that I have crafted out of envelopes. Now, all of these except for one were junk mail envelopes. So let's open this up real quick. Slide that to the side out of the way. So if you lay it out, it looks like that. The only envelope that wasn't was this last one. And if you go back to episode 1 or part 1, uh, where it's called Was This a Disaster? You'll see why I put one of those. If you don't have any, or if you're like me and you're having a hard time getting the envelope opened, um, without it tearing so much, or if you've been to the thrift store like I have. Let me grab this box up here. This whole box I got for $1.99. Most of the envelopes are in there. These are fine parchment envelopes, gray. It doesn't matter because you're going to be covering them up. But, if you only spend a few bucks, then use those. But check your thrift shops. Check the office supply section and see what you can score. All right, guys, I'm going to pause for a second and go close my door because if you've been watching my videos, you may have heard my 16-year-old in the background hackling like a hyena. So hold tight. I'll be right back. All right, maybe that's better. And yes, I said hackling. That's happy cackling. It's a new word. Feel free to use it. Maybe it's more muffled now. All right, so we're going to get ready to cover these. I have pulled digitals out, but you feel free to use what you have in your stash, what calls to your heart. If you want to use scrapbook paper, you want to use textbook paper, you want to use sheet music, you want to use notebook paper, you want to use wrapping paper, wallpaper, construction paper. You do what makes you happy. Let's all be positive with each other and encourage each other and gain some interest. Maybe you didn't think about using a product and then you watch someone's video and go, oh, I like that. It's kind of creative. So that being said, we're going to get started here. So the next step here is we're going to cover these. I'm not 100% sold on keeping the envelope windows. Maybe like this one. Probably not that one because that's 2 and that's just a little awkward. So let's decide. Okay. Oh, you can also use napkin. I have napkin pieces out, but I mean, like I said, you do what calls to you. So I have quite a collection of digitals that I would like to start diving into. So I printed out some. I previously on Lost went and bought some heavier paper. Because this had regular copy paper. For us in the States, regular copy paper is 20-pound paper. This is that's pretty thin. I mean, it's just a copy. So I bought some 20. It did not have 22. They had 24 and 28. So it was on sale for a good chunk off. I don't remember what it was, and I didn't pay for it. My husband paid for it. So um, I don't remember what it was. I think it was maybe $20 some change for each ream. The 28 is quite heavy compared to the 24. But I wanted to test it out. So things like ephemera pieces. This is on 28, so I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, sorry, that's actually quick stuff right there. But these are heavier. And so let's go through some of these. I recently bought some digital kits from Her Etsy shop is Melina1202, and they're like color themed, and there's like 100 pages in each one. I'll have these linked below. And hers are very like dreamy. So I have like one that's pink and black, one that I think is just pink, maybe a purple one. I have this there's turquoise and a teal one. And you may I've seen some other digital creators who have some of those similar images, so I'm assuming they're gathering these from kind of like Graphics Fairy, but I belong to Graphics Fairy, and these graphics are not on there, so maybe it's Digital Collage Club or something. So I pulled out some of these, printed out for like ephemera type pieces, but I printed a few pages for um, covering. So we'll tear up some of those and cover. Let's see what else I have. Rachel over at Rach and Bella. So Rach and Bella Crafts. I already had this from earlier this year, where she had, I think this was French, like receipts or something like that, because here, let's move this, Susan. Those are about the size of an envelope, so you could totally cover an envelope with those. So I've printed out 4 of those, and I think I also had one or part of one in my stash of scraps. Right, so that's Melina1202 and Rach and Bella Crafts. Some ephemera pieces. This is Timeless Treasures MB, also on Etsy. These were some pieces that just kind of spoke to me. Maybe they'll fit into this journal, but they might not. If not, I'll use them on something else. This is Tina Shabby Dabby Doodah pieces. These were pieces I purchased this summer. We all kind of gathered together and circled the wagons around her to help her out this summer. And I know it meant a lot to her. This is part of all those things that I bought. I didn't print this one out at the time because I didn't need those colors yet, but those kind of go with the turquoisey feel and pinky, purpley colors. So and that one's on cardstock. All right, and then I also here's that receipt I had printed out this summer from Rach and Bella. But then I also have all the I know it says Screen Out Studios or Screech Out, but it's not. These are, except for the doily, that was just in there for safekeeping. But these are some of the digitals I have printed out this summer, and no, that's not. That's Janie B journals. So is that this side? You see, I have trying to have it organized. Anyways, I have some Tina Shabby Dabby Doodah digitals in here. Like that is one. But some of these are not. So this must have been in my bag of just digitals. Now, a lot of these are probably Janie B journals. That might be Tina. I don't remember. But I will say Janie B journals, she has a YouTube channel. And I love buying her mystery digital kits because you get a little, it's like buying a mystery ephemera pack and you're not sure what's going to be in it. It's like that. So she puts pieces from her different collections in there. So I kind of like that. I'm kind of that way. And then I have a bunch of just things, flowery things. Here's a piece of receipt from that same kit. Some of these digitals, I don't remember where they're from. That'd be a good time to use this since that's so nice and taut. I think that's upside down. That's a piece of napkin. That's a piece of cardstock. And napkin. This was in an Etsy haul. I pulled out some ribbon. It was part of an Etsy haul. This was an Etsy haul of fabric samples that I had gotten, and most of them were kind of fall, Christmassy, and this is kind of, but maybe it'll go in here with all the color choices. But that red, deep red right there kind of throws it off a little bit. But if I need a fabric piece, and then I pulled out some papers to maybe put in towards the middle for, well, for signatures. I had some other digitals. I'll have to look and see who these are because I might sell this journal, and you don't want to put someone's stuff in here that they don't want you selling their stuff. So, and then I got this as part of a haul. I think this came from Robin at White Robin Vintage. She doesn't really have listed anymore ephemera packs, but this was one, and I had to glue it, but it might fit in there as maybe a tip out. So we'll see. So we're gonna get started with covering today, then we'll get to all the pockets and stuff in another video. And I'm sure I've probably talked quite a bit already. I'm gonna start with my Melina digitals here. And then maybe pull out some of those French receipts and then maybe some Tina stuff. I think my paper is still in the printer. I can, print out a few more. But I'm gonna put some music on as I'm still trying to clear this cold. And all right, so sit tight, relax, enjoy some tunes, and let's get cracking. All right, guys. I think this was more challenging than putting the envelopes together. I even paused, went and made beef stew for the first time ever. A nice thick hearty stew. So I usually make just soup. And that was easier. uh, but that's my first time. So, so okay, here are the things I learned. Number one, decide if you're gonna ink. If you're gonna ink everything before you glue anything. So the envelopes before you ever glue them together, ink them up. I didn't think I would ink. I guess I didn't realize, and now I know that your papers are not gonna go to the edge sometimes, and then if you're using digitals, you're gonna get that white edge, and um, if that's not the look you're going for, if you don't mind it, then it's fine. But I feel like my papers look aged. I feel like everything needs to be kind of aged, but that's just me. Um, and I the pieces in between, I would glue all your connector papers first, because this one, I put this down and then I glued that. Um, so I would glue all your connector pieces. That's the pieces that are going to be on the folds where your signatures are going to go in. I would glue those in first. Then put your big pieces. If you're going to do big pieces like this, well, even if you're not, if you're doing pieces like this, because like that's my connector piece. So yeah, and also, so this one wasn't quite tall enough, and so I had put a few pieces of leftover, like pages I had pulled, torn off, and that's all right. But I don't know. I'm not sure I would do something like that again. This one, this page went over, so that was my connector piece, and that's fine too if you think it's going to do that. Um, but I would glue the connector pieces or seam, the seam pieces in first, and then put your big pieces over. Or do it all the other way. Put all your big pieces in, then put your connector pieces in. I know some people do it that way. Some people even just put washi down the middle. But I think it's a great start. So I know this is Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah. Shabby Dabby Doodah. I think this is Janie B. This is Rach and Bella. I think this is Janie B. This is Melina. Rach and Bella, Rach and Bella, Janie B. Melina. I think Janie B. Rach and Bella. Janie B. Rach and Bella. Melina. Janie B. So, but it's also a testament to how you can. I've got glue, you guys. I'm just trying to, just from flip flopping it on my table here. I can feel the glue up here. You could take like a dry rag and go over it or something. But I don't know what I was getting ready to say just now. But that's challenging. I really think that took more time and more thought than the envelope, the base, putting that together. And of course it's wonky right in here because it the way I had glued it and stuff. Go back to part 1 if you haven't watched that. So it's a little wonky there, and it is what it is. So I don't know what you gonna do about that. So yeah, we'll come back for part 3 where we'll start making some ephemera and decorating. Oh no. Well, maybe so. Maybe we'll put in, not sure if I want to do signatures first, or put in some pockets here and there. Maybe I'll think about that before then. So the next video will be either putting in signatures or putting in some like corner tucks, belly bands. See, those you can add later. So maybe the next one will be putting in signatures. Let's say maybe that's what it's gonna be. But I'll sleep on it and go from there. Oh, I was saying about inking. I'm using Vintage Photo, and some people use that, or ground espresso, or they used walnut stain. But I don't think I ate this one. But you could, ink outside the box. Like use your greens, use your what is it, spiced marmalade, or um, and I was also thinking about when I was gluing these digitals down, that you could, if you have your own mixed media pages, those would be fun. Have y'all seen the girl on Instagram? She might have a YouTube channel. I haven't looked yet, but I watch her on Instagram. Froyle Art, Froyle. She does a lot of mixed media stuff, and I feel like I'm getting braver just watching her videos. But she does a lot with like alcohol inks. This is an acrylic ink, but um, having all those alcohol inks to use and the acrylic inks. So I feel like I'm gonna get some ideas. But if you watch her, or someone else, Darcy over Mixed Media Misadventures, or is it Misadventures in Mixed Media? She does a lot of inks and stuff. I really need to clean my stuff again. I just cleaned it, but yeah. So use what cost you. I mean, make one with digitals, then make the next one with mixed media creations. Make one with scrapbook scraps. Um, book page. Leave it like an envelope and just put pockets on it. I don't know. You do you. Oh, and I had a thought after, I already glued all this stuff on. If you want to keep the pockets, maybe open the envelope up, glue in your paper, then you can glue it back in place. So that's a thought. If you want to keep the pockets, but you want to paper the inside, you don't want that security envelope look. All right, friends, I know I've talked a lot here today. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already liked this video, could you do that? And subscribe if you haven't already. I'm on that quest to get to 500, and I know I'll get there. But that's my next goal. And I'm playing with my bowl here, trying to get it to balance, you guys. Anyways, hit that notification bell, and I appreciate you and your time. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. And until the next one, everyone, I'll see you then. Bye bye.